Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Coffee and Headlines. If I sound like I'm hesitating, I am. You see, yesterday afternoon, while I was having lunch out and about, I realized, thanks to some kind friends, that my Facebook account had been hacked. So I had to redo all my passwords and I had to redo all my stuff. And this morning, without realizing, I accidentally posted the show announcement to my personal page and not to here, which is where it should have gone. So I apologize if you did not receive an announcement this morning. And this is why we're going a little slowly today. I'm just hoping that everything is in order. I'm shutting down software that we're not going to need through the broadcast to make sure that it doesn't interfere in our pleasure. And I'm doing that as I am trying to say good morning to you all and welcome to Coffee and Headlines. This is our morning get together live here on Facebook where we take a look at news from our city, news from our state and country. We also take into account your wonderful comments, ideas, and suggestions on how to best connect with Puerto Vallarta as a community of English-speaking locals. And we try to nurture this project and one another with the information that we exchange. As always, it is a pleasure to welcome you today, and I think we're fine. We're not getting as many people as we usually do, but that's okay. I know that people will find our broadcast later on where we post it on YouTube and on Facebook. So today is Saturday, September 10th. We're in the middle of the weekend, and it's a good day to be here. We have a few interesting notes and news. I am afraid we're a little bit overloaded on Guadalajara news. You'd think I want to move there, or you'd think that we want to do Guadalajara Coffee and Headlines, but that's just the way the news are served today. There's an excessive, well, I don't know about excessive, but a lot of people are reporting things that are related to the passing of Queen Elizabeth, which is completely understandable. But we know you can find that kind of information elsewhere. As always, we try to focus on things that have to do with Puerto Vallarta, and we will endeavor to do that today and in the future. So, as always, if you are new to the live broadcast, we appreciate it if you let us know. You don't have to, but if when you write the word new, N-E-W, in your comment, it is a pleasure to welcome you to our cluster. And when you write the letter Q, you give us a signal that you have something important that you wish to share and that you're looking for a reaction on, or a reply or a comment. So if you are willing and able to do that, we will get along just fine. So today we're going to go through the news, and then we're going to go through some lively stuff. And we are also, well, I am also, with your permission, going to complain. Let's start with the news. Oh dear. So this is not meant to spook you, but it kind of spooked me. Jalisco's protection department reported an 80 centimeter long snake that was found at a home in Palmar de Aramara. It was subsequently returned to its natural habitat along the Pitillal River. So, ouch. If you live in Palmar de Aramara, no, this is no reason for you to be, totally wigged out. I am sure this was an exceptional instance, but I thought I would share it with you nonetheless. Uh, oh my God, Chris Brewer. Um, you're already commenting on that. I love it. We'll get to your comment in a second. Give me a second. I also want to report that this morning I was going through. Oh, was there a black screen and nothing else? Oh, my apologies. I didn't set this up properly, so let me do that again. I tell you. Thank you very much for mentioning that, Michael. This is what we were trying to share. Uh, this little snake that decided to go into somebody's home. My apologies. Um, Thank you, Colleen. Thank you, Janice. My bad. Thank you, Terry. But there you go. This lovely little creature uh, found its way into a home in Palmar de Aramara and has now found its way back to the river, the Pitillal River, thanks to some very kind folks from the Civil Protection Department. These things will happen from time to time. The question is, do you know what to do? Because whether it's a snake or it's an iguana or a garrobo, critters are sooner or later going to invade our homes. You can reach Protección Civil using 911 here in Puerto Vallarta, and that's just for you to know. And we'll get to the chicharrones, Chris. I promise we will get to that in a second. I also want to let you know, and thank you for letting me know that my screen was black. I think we've fixed that. I was looking at Facebook this morning, and this post from Los Cuentos Taproom just caught my attention. And I love it when restaurants continue to find ways to innovate and offer something unique that we shouldn't miss. And this weekend, Los Cuentos Taproom, which we've mentioned in the past, we've enjoyed this place very much. This weekend, they're featuring a series of chiles rellenos or stuffed peppers. And because their dishes are usually very small, we probably can't taste them all in one sitting. They're going to have a jalapeno stuffed with Oaxaca cheese. They're going to have a caribeño pepper grilled and stuffed with a fish stew. They're going to have a manzano pepper that is full of chicharrón, precisely, with serrano sauce, and they're going to have an ancho pepper stuffed with plantain. And all these four chiles are going to be available at Los Cuentos this weekend. And I tell you, we've glowed about their cuisine. It's very rare that a restaurant will serve such an interesting variety of chiles rellenos in one sitting. So if you are in town this weekend and you would like to taste a nice selection of variations on a Mexican staple dish, I would visit Los Cuentos Taproom, and that may very well be my outing for Sunday. Yesterday or the day before, Luisa, one of our cluster members, was mentioning tortas ahogadas, and indeed, Guadalajara is celebrating Torta Ahogada Day today. Let us pause for a second and remember that tortas ahogadas or drowned tortas are like the staple food that is served in Guadalajara. They can be found here. There's a wonderful place that serves them just one block away from my home here in La Vena. And but in Guadalajara, if you happen to be in Guadalajara this weekend, the Guadalajara government will gift over 10,000 ahogada tortas near City Hall. There will be mariachi, there will be beer tastings, and they're scheduling over 30 different torta ahogada vendors that will have stands. This is in Guadalajara City, so this is going to be a lot of fun if you happen to be in Guadalajara this weekend. Meanwhile, two Mexican dishes turned out in a list of worst street food to eat throughout the world. The list was put together by Taste Atlas, an experiential travel guide to traditional food that collates authentic recipes, food critic reviews, and research articles about popular ingredients and dishes. Now, you're wondering, what are the worst Mexican street food dishes according to this institution? Well, the one that came up, there are two that came up on a list of 10 from around the world. Number one would be, not number one in being the worst, but one of the two Mexican dishes that showed up is the tamal torta, which is also known as the guajolota torta, which is you take a tamal, which is a lot of carbohydrates, and you put it inside of a torta bread, which we call bolillo, and that's even more carbohydrates. So why is the guajolota torta bad for you? Because of the excess number or amount of carbohydrates. And the other Mexican dish that showed up is tripe tacos. Tripe tacos are usually made out of cow or pig tripe. They're very popular in food stands, and according to these folks, it is not good for you because if the tripe is not prepared properly, it is difficult to chew. Okay, well, it's funny because yesterday or the day before also, I think it was Luisa who was craving also some tacos de tripa. So there you have it. It's very commonly eaten down here. I don't think I've ever tasted tripe tacos. It's not something that I think I would enjoy, but then again, I used to say that about cow tongue tacos, and now I absolutely love them. So you never know. You never know until you try it. I also wanted to let you know that El Buen Fin is coming again. El Buen Fin is Mexico's equivalent to the United States Black Friday, that weekend after Thanksgiving, in which many stores offer unbeatable sales and discounts on this, that, and the other. And Mexico has the equivalent. And this year, the dates have been announced, November 18 to 21st. It is usually planned around the same time as the United States Thanksgiving. And of course, it's a way for the Mexican government to try to boost our economy. As in all instances, and we've said this before, and we'll say it again as we get closer to that date, there are some great values, but then there are also some sneaky deals out there that you may want to avoid. And now, before we go into our weather break, I have a little something that I need to address. And this has to do with my personal take on complaining. And my personal take on complaining goes like this. If we complain, I mean, it's okay to complain. Everybody has a right to complain. And I have a right to complain as much as you have a right to complain. And the only thing I try to do myself for my own peace of mind is, if I'm going to complain, I try to keep my level of complaining in check with my amount of nurturing. In other words, if I'm going to say something negative, I'm going to try to also say something positive. If I'm going to complain, I'm also going to try to nurture. This comes to relevance because of something that happened yesterday during the broadcast. Yesterday, somebody asked about somebody that had died on the beach, and it had a cue. So clearly the question was meant for me to address. And it had to do with, had I heard of somebody that had died on the beach? Now, when you put a cue in your comment, you're not guaranteed the response that you would like to hear. You're guaranteed my honest, unbiased, filter-free response. Sometimes the response is good. Sometimes the response is not so good. Yesterday, when I heard from someone that has been around this broadcast for a long time, that knows that there are certain things that we don't talk about, including hearsay, asked, have you heard about somebody that died? And I said, no. Or yes, I forget what I said, but I said something along the lines of, people die here all the time. We don't talk about it. And number two, we don't really react to things that people hear. We react to the news. We react to questions, things like that. Well, this person that I'm not going to name, because I don't have to. All the drama is on yesterday's comments, so you can go and put A and B together. This person went on to post on the comments that when I asked Snark Paco, he responded saying, "We don't talk about things we heard, we have to read them. His sarcasm and favoritism is pushing my interest away." And I'm going to hold on to that last statement for a couple of reasons. First of all, favoritism. How is it that I cannot have favorites and you can? Everybody has favorites. I have favorite foods. I have favorite places. I have favorite movies. I have favorite books. I have favorite people. I have favorite restaurants. I have favorite topics. There are topics that are not my favorite simply because I don't know about them or I'm not interested in them. But what is so wrong about me having favoritism when everybody does? Or even worse, why should I not be allowed to have favorite something here and there? And then there's a part of this is pushing my interest away. Well, I'm going to tell you what pushes my interest away. You know what pushes my interest away? People that complain more than they nurture. And I will say this, I have been nurturing Coffee and Headlines, and you have been nurturing Coffee and Headlines along with me for over 2 years now. So do indulge me as I complain a little bit. This person goes on to say, the sarcasm in your tone was one you used for those not in your immediate cluster, just the opinion of my friends, of myself and a few friends. And I wonder if these are the same friends that last year, along with you, complained about the fact that I failed to acknowledge a Canadian holiday. Or are these new friends? I mean, this person and your friends seem to have a lot of complaints, and I just don't get it. Why you complain and you don't nurture. And you complain about the fact that I have favorites and people that are in my immediate cluster. You want to know who is in my immediate cluster? The vast majority of people. I favor people that come in here to nurture this project with great ideas, with welcomes, with little glimpses of what makes your life wonderful. So if you feel that I have favorite people, you're damn right I do. And who are the favorite people? You are. But not you that just complain and have nothing else to contribute. You who are nurturing this project constantly. Take Chris Brewer, for example, yesterday and this morning. He's like, when is a good time to have a discussion about where to get the best chicharrones in PV and what's best served on or with them? I mean, can you get more nurturing than that? And Chris Brewer is not my personal friend. I mean, we may have met at one of the meets, and I forget because that's just how forgetful I am. Please apologize. Please forgive me for that. But, to this particular person, I say, you were miffed last year and you are miffed now, and you're saying that you're getting tired of it. Well, you're taking too long to go away. Because in my mind, if you don't like the content, you have two options and two options only. You have an option to go away and find something more nurturing to do for your life, which is very precious. You have the option to contribute positively because everybody else does, but you don't have the option to piss on my wall because I never gave you that option. So if you're unhappy, go away. For the rest of you, thank you for indulging me the pleasure and the privilege of complaining from time to time. There are now 5,397 of you following on Facebook, so we must be doing something right. There are 2,270 subscribers on YouTube, And we got 14,460 views in the last 28 days. So we must be doing something right. How much money am I going to make from YouTube this month? About $114. So we're not getting rich, but we are getting very, very happy. And last but not least, slowly, little by little, our membership in Coffee and Headlines, in Buy Me a Coffee, rather, is increasing. We're now up to 378 members. So we must be doing something right. And how? By nurturing. So if you are not invested in nurturing and all you're invested in is complaining, please keep your distance. And Snarky Weather says, bite like an eagle. Well, with your permission, I just did. 27 degrees right now, feels like 32. Humidity is at 100%, and our temperature is 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Our weather forecast for today, well, it's a movie afternoon for me, so I don't care. Possible light rain until morning. I don't know if it rained during the morning, but we have a high of 31 and a low of 25. Tomorrow, Sunday, rain and humidity, with a high of 30 and a low of 25. And on Monday, we have a high of 30 and a low of 24 with rain and humidity. So it's our typical summer weather, our typical snake gets in your house weather. What can I tell you? It's just the way it is. I do have a couple of other nuggets that I wish to share with you. Again, I apologize if this seems like the Guadalajara experience today, but I did happen to run into these bits of news. I have actually found a new and wonderful excuse to go to Guadalajara, and this has to do with the fact that I was reading that Minerva, a microbrewery that is based in Guadalajara, they have reinstated their tours of their facilities, and they are located in the city of Guadalajara, in Zapopan to be precise. Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, they have a variety of tours. They are 400 pesos per person, and they include exploring their factory and beer tasting and a souvenir. So this is something that I'll definitely do the next time I go to Guadalajara. And last but not least, our friends from the Conjunto Santander have published the schedule, the upcoming schedule for the Metropolitan Operas that get broadcast live from New York City. And the season will start on October 22nd. And there's a whole variety of traditional operas and a variety of operas that are new and contemporary. So it's a little bit of everything. If you've never attended these broadcasts, it is as nice as it is when you go live. Well, it's very different because you get up close and you have different cameras, and it's just an absolutely wonderful experience. So that is what we have to share today. We're going to look at your comments in a second. But once again, I do want to apologize to the vast majority of you who nurture this project. You don't come here to hear me complain. And I apologize for the 10 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever time that I took away from your wonderful life to complain about what upsets me and what pushes my buttons. It's people that are negative. Can't stand it. Let's take a look at what you got. Good mornings, lots of good mornings, lots and lots and lots of good mornings that are always appreciated. Every time you say good morning, you say you care. Every time you give us a little glimpse of what the weather is like in your home or what you're up to this morning and that morning, you are nurturing this project. You're giving us a glimpse of your lives, and that is so much appreciated. Take Kathy, who is visiting with her son in Orange. What rain we had. Hopefully things will cool off a bit. I hope so too. We love that kind of stuff. Let's see what else we have. And we'll get to the chicharrones as soon as I find the comment. There it is. Chris Brewer. Good morning. Who likes chicharrones? You know, I will say this, Chris. Comments like yours keep me up at night, but I don't mind it. They keep me up at night because they keep me up thinking about wonderful content to share. Comments like that other shit we reported earlier, they also keep me at night. They take my breath away. They pull my breath right under me. And I hate that. So, back to the good stuff. Chicharrones. I'm not prepared to dive into it with a lot of detail today, but I love chicharrones, and I know of a couple of places where you can get great chicharron tacos, and I know of a couple of places that prepare them differently. Today, we discovered that Los Cuentos Taproom is going to have chicharrones this weekend, so give me a few days, Chris, to add your excellent suggestion to my list of things to research and my list of things to lose sleep over. I'll be so very happy to do so. Who else likes chicharrones? I want to know. Sorry, no video. Sorry, no video. We fixed that, which is wonderful. Oh, Lynn just came back from a nice trip to Guadalajara. Had a wonderful lunch at Paco's restaurant in Tlaquepaque. I'm not familiar with the restaurant, but Lynn, feel free to share photos with us or tell us more about your adventure. Every time anyone connects with a bit of Mexico, it makes my day. Do, 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 do. Da, da. Oh, your comments about the snakes. I love it. David says, in all my years visiting, I have never seen a snake, and my blood pressure is grateful for that. Well, I have to say, I've never seen a snake. And if I have seen a snake, it's been like an itty bitty one. But I've never seen a snake here in town. Kimberly says, this is my first time watching. My best friend David Gregory sent me the link. David and his husband John own a condo in PV, and I would love to visit next year. Well, Kimberly, welcome to the cluster. This is what we do. If you are a visitor and not a local, you may find that our content is a little bit local oriented, and that may not be to your liking. Then again, if you are one to travel through the world, experiencing the places that you visit through the eyes and experiences of people that live there full time, then this is going to be a good place for you. Charles is hungry now, and I am hungry now too. I love it. Food and beer, it is all amazing at Los Cuentos. Even more amazing that the food comes out of a tiny kitchen. Absolutely true, Brian. And we've reported this before. What's fascinating about Los Cuentos Taproom is that they prepare everything out of a burner that is about this size. And they have such a good eye and taste for Oaxacan style cuisine. Again, if you're around this weekend, I am very tempted to going there. I have plans for today, but I definitely recommend this restaurant. There's a queue. Is there an alternate to 911, less urgent than emergency if it's not life-threatening? Liz, I am sure that Protección Civil has a number. I just don't have it handy, but I will gladly look into it and provide the number next week. Let's see what else. Luisa, again, commenting on tribe tacos. I should try tribe tacos one of these days, and I think I will. I love it. Thank you guys for welcoming Kimberly to the cluster. I appreciate that very much. Let's see what else. Da, 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 da. One last thing about this very colorful character that I mentioned earlier. Please resist the urge to get ugly towards her. Because when we get ugly towards people, we're being as careless as sometimes they are when they get ugly. So kindly resist the urge to acknowledge this situation. Let's see. Lots of comments about what I said. I appreciate your comments, and I appreciate your feedback. I really do. I don't want to overdo it, but I appreciate. I don't want to dwell on this, but I appreciate what you're saying. Let's see what else we have. Oh, Kimberly acknowledged us back. It's a pleasure to join. Note, For some reason, on some of the replies, the site did not give me the opinion to choose love as my reply. Just know that I thank you all and look forward to enjoying every day. Well, let me tell you, Kimberly, Facebook works very mysteriously. Sometimes they add banners, sometimes they let you do things, sometimes they don't. So I couldn't even begin to explain the Facebook experience from where you are. Just know that you are as welcome as anybody else. And I will suggest to you, Kimberly, as I suggest to everybody else, if you want to learn a little bit more about what makes this project tick and prosper and thrive, we have a detailed list of frequently asked questions that you can visit. It is listed at the top of the comments every single day, and it is clearly available on our website, where you will also find the show notes for each and every broadcast that we have. David says, I don't think I bring very much to the cluster, but I am grateful for all the times I can listen to and learn things from you, Paco. David, I think you bring a lot to the cluster because you bring positivity. And I, myself, am very grateful for that. And I am happy to bump into you in Puerto Vallarta whenever you visit. And I am happy to make time for that because you are a nurturing person. And that's what we try to gather and celebrate. Da, 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 da. Doug says, you always know how to address things properly. Have you forgotten about all those times that I've gotten ugly, Doug? You know, if I had enough time in my hands, I would do it like a super cut of all the episodes in which I got too bitchy without meaning to get too bitchy. You know, we're all human here. We are all human here. But my bottom line is, am I capable of looking at the mirror at the end of each day and acknowledge the good things and the not so good things that I did? That's my bottom line. Da 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 ba ba da ba ba da da da. It's my show. Well, it is, Joe, but it really is not my show. It is everybody's broadcast. And many of you take the time and find ways to nurture this project positively with great suggestions. So it is your show too. My only role here is to keep it in check and to keep it nurturing and inspiring. That's all we're here to do. Let's see what else. Do 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 da da dee da dee da da. Oh, lots of love for chicharrones. I love it because I always think that people are not going to like chicharrones, but oh my gosh. Okay, so I will notch up my priority of going chicharron hunting so that I can bring back some great suggestions. Let's see. There's another cue. I love it. Do you have tips for first time day? Oh my God, what a great question. First time Day of the Dead participants in PV. Tips. You know, this is important because we as locals love Day of the Dead. And you may be a local, you may be a tourist. In this particular case, it's not relevant. Let me tell you this, Darren. First, Darren T. Henderson. Let me tell you this. First of all, kindly keep in mind that Day of the Dead celebrations were canceled for 2 years. So I am sure that information will trickle out. Also, kindly keep in mind that when events are organized by our city, they're usually a little bit on the later side to announce things. We have seen glimpses of information about Day of the Dead here and there, indicating that the city will have all kinds of celebrations. A few days ago, we mentioned the fact that one of the goals that the municipality has this year is to erect the tallest Catrina ever. And you may or may not know what a Catrina is. It is all about Day of the Dead. And we will dive into it as we continue to find details. So back to your original question, do I have any tips? The first and foremost tip that I have for you is stay tuned. Stay tuned to Coffee and Headlines because Day of the Dead is important to this community. And we will endeavor to find all the information and make it available as in a timely manner as much as we can. Needless to say, aside from what the city organizes, a lot of people join the festivity, and many bars and venues have costume competitions, and this, that, and the other. And there are opportunities to paint yourself and with a skull on your face. So yes, we will keep all that information uh, available to you. The pissy ass queen mode episode, yes, says Brian. Well, Brian, I hope I was not too pissy ass queenie. I try to make known the way I feel and think as evenly as possible. And I even thought to myself, maybe I should have Luna on my lap just to make sure that I don't get ugly, because I never get ugly in front of my cat. So I hope I was not pissy when I said what I said. Da 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 da. We're done. We're done. We are, yes, we are done. So this was Coffee and Headlines for today, and this was Coffee and Headlines for this week. I look forward to seeing you again on Monday. Stay kind, stay happy, stay complainy, but if you're going to complain, just make sure you also nurture around you. It's worked for me, and I hope it works for you.